Well, good morning, Southeast Arkansas. Guess what? It's still winter. Well, maybe it's kind of fallish. It's not real cold, but it's cooler than it was for so long. It's time for our morning devotional, and our morning devotional this morning is entitled God's Love Manifested in Us. And our devotional verse is from 1 John chapter 4, verse 9. In this, the love of God was made manifest among us, that God sent His only Son into the world so that we might live through Him. You know, there's a lot of hate in the world right now, but that's really not anything new. Solomon said in Ecclesiastes 1:9 that there's nothing new under the sun. People's hate for each other is why wars have raged on the earth for centuries. People like their groups, they like their tribes, and everybody else is on their own. Not only are they on their own, but if I'm a member of one tribe and I like your stuff, I may come take your stuff by force. Even with my own tribe and my own group, there's always political machinations going on. People just don't love they don't love each other nearly as much as they love what is good for them. What's really ironic, though, is the humanists and the evolutionists almost have it right on this point, because on the surface, people only treat each other kindly because it preserves social organization. The technical term for that is mutual reciprocity, and it's actually the model for the evolutionary theory of morals. Of course, the problem is that model is flawed because there's no absolute standard for moral behavior and love. When society changes, so do the definitions of love and morality. But did you know that there is, in fact, an absolute standard for love? And that standard of love is God and His love for us. Did you also know that love and our love for one another is a benchmark of assessment for the reality of our faith? John develops that theme over and over and over again in his epistle. He describes God's love for us and then goes on to tell us that we're to love each other in the same way. And that's a benchmark, and it's a standard by which we can measure the reality of our faith. So what is that way? Well, God's love for us is total, sacrificial, unending, and unconditional. My friends, as we said earlier, hate runs rampant in the world today, and it seems to be getting worse. But if you're a saved child of God and been saved by God's grace, then you need to present that face to the world. If you're caught up in hate, then you're actually part of the problem. Having said all that, don't hate the messenger here either. If you think you have justification for hating someone else, take it up with God. Have a great day in the Lord, my friends.